What a way to start a Sunday off. The Pinnacle Cup number 2, and we've got some excellent matches at hand that will be deciding which teams get to progress or which teams do get eliminated at this Swiss stage of the Pinnacle Cup. My name is X-Warrior. Of course, by my side is the wonderful Wilderi. And will we bring you the first best of 3 action for the day? We've got an interesting matchup, don't we, today?
Absolutely. HAVU versus SKADE. Now, these are two teams that have... that are quite neck and neck as far as the stats are concerned, but you know what? I think we can get into the nitty-gritty later, shouldn't we, Pavlos?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we should also take a look at the Swiss stage currently as a whole, because these two teams are on the verge of actually qualifying to the upper stage, to the next one, which is the playoffs circumstantially. As you can see on your screen, SKADE and both their opponents today, HAVU, they've got on themselves a 2-1 scoreline, which means with the third victory, they do get to qualify to that upper bracket, to the playoff stage, if you will. And you'd really want to see these two teams perform in that regard, because they sort of have a very similar storyline, don't they? But why don't we head into HAVU as the team currently? Because I don't think they've seen too many changes since January. Really, they've pretty much been the same squad, but they may have fallen from the spotlight for the past month.
Yeah, they haven't really had many changes, as you mentioned. They've been able to be very consistent with regards to their lineup. But as far as performances are concerned, they've been a bit hit and miss. You have some incredible wins in the form of having wins against Fiend and Copenhagen Flames, but also they didn't really perform too well against MIBR, who themselves are a very struggling squad at the moment. But on the other side of the spectrum, SKADE, the Bulgarian squad that is supposed to be basically the saviors of the Bulgarian scene after Fiend has started to drop off a little bit, their performance has also been on a bit of a downtrend. So in that regard, HAVU and SKADE, they're quite similar. But I would go ahead and say that HAVU, they're showing a few more signs of life.
It does seem like that, and actually HLTV sort of agrees with us, because they both stand in a really close point. SKADE number 36 and HAVU number 35 in the world currently, and therefore I guess in a really close, they're regarded very close to each other. And not only that, their storylines are also inflicting, right? Once they were, I guess HAVU was in the top 20, I believe, number 14 in the world at some point earlier this year. They had a rapid increase of performance at the start of this year, but later on, slowly they've been lowering their performances across the board. They've had some really good finishes and some great tournaments, but as of recently, that hasn't quite been the case. But we do know that for both of these teams, there is potential. There's potential to hit that top 20 mark and reach greater heights, because both of them have tasted that success, and I'm sure both of them would like to get right back into that endeavor. But let's have a look at the veto and how this matchup will ensue, because I feel it sort of plays a massive difference on what the outcome of the series will be.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that SKADE end up banning out Nuke, and they end up banning out Inferno as well. The reason for that is that, hold that thought. Okay, yeah, I mean, HAVU being the ones to pick up Dust 2, that's sort of expected. That's something that they're very comfortable with playing. It's one of their most picked maps. So Dust 2 being picked up, no surprises there at all. Now HAVU, they've had to pick up Overpass. That is still one of their better maps, but that's not to say that they wouldn't have picked something like Vertigo instead. The point I mentioned earlier about them banning Inferno, of course, because I accidentally saw the video a bit earlier, is because Inferno is one of their staple maps. I mean, they have an 80% win rate across almost 30 maps being played. So for them to not want to play Inferno at all, that's a bit of a question mark for me. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to feel too bad about heading on over to Mirage either, because that's something they have firmly cemented themselves as experienced on.
Yeah, both teams sort of go for their go-to picks, and that just comes down to the fact that both these teams have got go-to bans, right? So you won't be seeing the counter-banning coming through from both of these teams. So they'll be happy to give each other their map. So it is sort of expected each of them will perform at an equal sort of level when it comes to their own home ground. But heading over to Mirage, I think, like I share your testament, that would be where things will be decided, right? Mirage sort of seems to be the puggy map where things will unravel in a way that we cannot yet expect, and for that reason we are sort of expecting a 3-mapper endeavor, aren't we?
Yeah, especially because Overpass is a map that HAVU are not going to have a very comfortable time on. I mean, they've played it a fair bit, and although yes, they have played against some very good teams, most of their results have been in the red. They've been in the negative. I mean, they've lost a couple times against Entropy. They've lost against Young Ninjas. And in all fairness, in credit to them, they've managed to keep these score lines close to that 16-14 mark. So that's something to go for. That's something that works out in their favor. But not being able to close out maps, that's not a very good sign if we're going to look at Overpass. So I'm going to put you on the spot here, Pavlos. Based on this, do you think any team can even take it to a 2-0?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. A 2-0, that is something that I'm not quite sure of. If there's any team that can sort of get that 2-0, I'd say that is likely to be SKADE. I know that might be surprising for you, considering HAVU have got some decent performances lately when it comes to those maps, but I don't know, man. I can't really call it 2-0. Honestly, I feel like both of these teams are capable of taking their own map pick. So the situation of any team getting a 2-0 is really highly debated. So I'm not going to try and segue into that. I know you put me on the spot there, but I'm going to kind of stop you in that regard. I don't think that will be the case at all. It's a really slow chance for that actually to happen, but I believe we'll be heading right into game to see how this action does ensue. It's Dust2 to kick us off here in the first map of the series. Let's see what the Pinnacle odds do depict. Like us, they do think that the situation is very similar between the two teams, slightly favorable for SKADE, but let's wait and see as these two teams head right into the server.
SKADE with 4 sets of Kevlar. They want to rely on Dennis Law with the double flashbang and kit as far as their utility is concerned. But look at this early on aggression. They're sending up a player in mid. Oxygen will be the point man that wants to take things in charge, and he's able to get 2. So before HAVU even get their foot through the door, they've already been quashed.
Duplicate does meet contact towards the lower tunnel side, but he's got reinforcements. You can see Oxygen on a really close angle, and you can see Dennislow as well closing things up. They're not giving HAVU any space, sort of closing the breathing area for them, suffocating them. Zorate will eventually fall. It's a clean round from SKADE to hit things up with a first round.
I like how they were very proactive with how they played that pistol round, and the reason they had to do that was because they had limited amounts of utility. When you're banking on the Kevlar, then you want to carve yourselves out better aim duels, and that's exactly what Oxygen did to push up mid. Just with some support from a player in short, he was able to pick up 2. I mean, for the most part, it was a solo mission, just head up mid, pop heads, make it look that easy, but X7 wants to find a head of his own. Denislaw, he's been tagged up a bit, now he's within 1-shot range of the scout rifle, so he's not going to be challenging mid any further. HAVU, unable to find the bomb plan in the previous round, does mean that they have dug into a couple deagles. No hero AK-47 buy, no Galil, and most of their attention is around mid. The bomb still not being committed to anything just yet. They are anticipating that SKADE would try to fish out information by having a player aggress forward.
For us, I don't know about you, but I see Deagles and I sort of feel scared as of yesterday's game with MIBR, where Deagle rounds was always a round that they could take on. But let's see if even HAVU can have the similar impact here.
Yeah,
SKADE not going to make this easy.
Mm-hmm.
Long distance on that MP9, not quite favorable. I'm sure he'll wait for his opponents to come near in Century to block their avenue towards that site. Looks like they'll stick around for a little bit longer. Maybe consider cross towards mid. They don't have any information. They haven't gone for any lurk plays. It's going to have to be a brute force attempt. What a shot from X7 there, and that's going to be an opener for the A site.
The reinforcements, they want to come in, but these are very uncomfortable angles, and Zori's making it expensive. The MP9 still alive and kicking. Wants to be a menace and ramp, but the bullets will be like staples. They aren't really doing any damage. Rainwaker now wants to collaborate with ships to get back into the game, and as you said it, Pavlos, they're showing us signs of being MIBR with how they handle those Eagles.
It just comes down to rounds like this, really, when to gain the advantage back up. Deagle rounds are really important in the current meta. And it just shows, right? Teams that are capable to get themselves these victories, along, of course, with your rifle rounds, it really helps you out by a lot, because it just puts the economy back in track. It doesn't allow your opponents to steamroll through some default rounds that would otherwise be theirs. And for that reason, HAVU are closely neck and neck with SKADE to start things off with. And they also have a better economy to start things off on the third round.
Yeah, this is not an incredible sign for for SKADE to start out Dust 2. Zori wants to get in hot pursuit with the MP9, but that doesn't really come out to fruition. A little bit of damage has been exchanged, but for the most part, the CT side will be struggling to try and defend this. And the good thing for SKADE is that they have a lot of AWP prowess as far as their roster is concerned, of course. But on a map like Dust 2, if you're starting off on the CT side, controlling your economy, that's going to be a very fickle affair.
I love the off angle that Slow was holding there, because you could see also with the rotation onto the lower tunnels from that angle. It just sort of was slightly off, so therefore you couldn't really line things up with a deagle, and that's what you want to do as when you know you're dealing with deagles, right? Be on an off angle, therefore a flick will be required, and flicks on a deagle shot it isn't an easy affair. There's a reason why everybody calls the Juan Deagle a substantial outcome, right? So for that reason, I guess HAVU played that perfectly. And Duplicate, I think he'll have to hold back on the other side of the map. We're only having a deagle and a piece of Kevlar, a flash as well to keep him company. But other than that, HAVU, they'll be easing up ahead with a 2-1 score over their opponents, and I'm sure they'll be very happy with that prospect, considering that SKADE also will be forced down to an eco. And for that reason, the Finnish side will move out of this with smiles all over their places, because they didn't even lose a singular player throughout that, so they can easily build up an economical basis now.
That's sort of the advantage you get with winning the second round. If you can pick up a round with the Deagles, not only do you have your opponent's weaponry, you get a chance at a loss bonus. You don't really have to give anything up to start building up your bank. It's an early shot at building up your pile of gold, and that's exactly what SKADE need to be watching out for. They've only got USPs now with a duplicate on a flashbang and a Desert Eagle. Maybe we see a couple kills here. That should be the best case scenario, but look at how Duplicate's managed to creep on forward. He's being expected though. There's an M4 watching, and the 1D. Don't think it gets a chance to come to light today.
Yeah, there's movement from Zori from Suicide as well, so multiple angles being challenging Duplicate's position. Although I do like him taking that aggressive angle. Sort of something unorthodox that I have to deal with. They're not having any trouble in doing so at all. Mid being taken over as well. Looking to gain access to one of the sites. Zori finds a 4-piece, so he might consider getting an ace here, but considering he's very low, Slowy will just close up the deal for him. 3-1 in favor of HAVU, as the next round is a very juicy one.
This is where we delve right into those gun rounds, don't we, Pavlos? But the problem I want to point out here is that the terrorist side have already built up enough money that they're going to have a significantly easier time than SKADE in the first half. You can see that Zori is already sitting on 10k, and X7, he's put a cherry on top of that advantage by taking out Rainwaker before he can even voice his concerns on the matter. HAVU firmly heading up short. There's not much that SKADE can do in terms of getting control back, other than maybe going for a flash and a push, but even utility is going to be lacking. Dennis Law, can he catch off Slowy and Aerial? Don't think that's his goal at the moment, especially because nobody can even flash him in. Duplicate is the man close by, and he doesn't have any utility for it. So a bit of a stalemate, but with the advantage of HAVU. No information being collected on mid. This is troublesome for the CT side, because as soon as HAVU step onto the A site, the call for the save should be made.
Flash out. Dennis Law is there and waiting. He's got the reinforcements of Duplicate as well, so it's going to be an easy affair for them. They've got the bomb, they do. It's been dropped right in front of their feet, and they throw down a smoke to stop the entry of sort of coming across. Disturbed. He's a little bit disturbed by it as well. Look at his face. He's a bit worried about the current situation. Losing 2 players. Of course, it's only 1-man disadvantage, but I like the movement coming in from Zore. Sort of feels like Duplicate knows of this. He's got his attention turned towards it. Oh, if he does go for the wraparound towards long, maybe he can catch Oxygen off guard. But in the process, you can sort of see Oxygen doing the same thing himself, right? Disturbed. get one kill, so still within the realms of possibility, but they do not expect oxygen. O2 is here to stay. Breathe it all in. X7, though, will make sure that none of it is left. X7 pulls out the deagle as well, finds a double for him. Zorre, nothing much he can do. It was a very close endeavor at the end of it, but SKADE is a team to come out ahead on top afterwards.
I'm not sure how SKADE are even able to pick up that round because HAVU had carved themselves out the perfect niche. They could have headed up short. They would have nobody to contest in that instance. And a free bomb plant would surely have signaled the alarms to go for a save. But HAVU, now that they've dropped the ball, perhaps SKADE can start clawing their way back into this. X7, he has a little angle around the one-way smoke, tries to peek. Cow takes a few bullets in the back, and he realizes, okay, yeah, there's no way we're getting past those double doors, so we got to change our avenue. SKADE, they have a very good setup to contest anything that might come their way down mid, but they don't have an AWP, which is why they're lacking initiative. You can see how HAVU now, they want to move up short, and this is a decision they should have made in the previous round, where a lot of free mobility was being granted to them. This time, SKADE, they're not giving up a lot of leeway.
Not at all. HAVU. Spreading out. This is something we've seen plenty of times from HAVU. Mid-control, making sure they've got their hand on either side of the map, though they don't quite go for the side aggression, which does mean that ships will gain free info of the positioning of HAVU. Really, no one in the upper tunnels. It's the process of elimination, right? If they're not in the upper tunnels, they should be challenging mid or catwalk or A-long, considering the oxygen is also very far in that regard as well. But the challenge will come through onto this mid side, and ships will have to be the man that deals with it. One kill found. X7 jumps through. He's able to find it, but takes a lot of damage in the process. Rainwaker, he's all by himself. That's an off angle that he needs to defend. One shot found. That's a kill going his way. Takes cover behind the car, but repositions in that corner as well. Multiple direction from where he's being challenged from, and he's eventually shut down. 2v3. The retake can ensue, and SKADE have the advantage in numbers, but HAVU can close things down as the B side of Dust 2 is known as a great big fort, and they've got control over it. Smoke, flash to allow the push to come underway. No scope from Zorre to give him a kill. Down to a 2-on-2. Can he find the second? Duplicate peeks through. Slowly is able to shut down oxygen, but Duplicate, the shot has been found through the smoke. Zorre, he's down, and it's down to a one-on-one endeavor. Easing through, looking for the shot, but Slowly swings out, gets the kill into Duplicate, and just like that is as HAVU, they get themselves a victory.
That came down to the individuals of HAVU to be able to shut things down, because SKADE had the perfect read. They had ships being able to pick up a kill. He even got a second one on the B bomb site, and they had the B site under lock and key long enough that the advantageous retake would come through from SKADE. But man, what was that shot even from Duplicate? I think he just had the right angle on the door. He expected somebody to want to walk right back in, and well, ends up working out in their favor. Complete firing range. Lasts a shorter amount of time than the replay we just saw, and that's already another round for HAVU.
You know what that round felt like? You know when there's those shooting ranges when you go for warm-ups and they're usually on a Dust 2 sort of environment? It sort of felt like that, but I've never seen one based on tunnels, right? I've never practiced on a map based on tunnels, and it felt like it's a brand new map that you can exercise on. It's on tunnels. Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, I love how
if anyone wants a new idea for a practice map, there you go.
I love how you go like, yeah, you know, like when you go to those shooting ranges, like as if it's like a daily thing for the average person. No, Pavlos, you were in the military. This is more relatable to you than any of the viewers.
No, I was talking about Counter-Strike shooting ranges, like practicing your aim, but sure, okay, you're probably right. You're probably right in that regard.
Getting back to the game, though, Oxygen, he's managed to contest long. That's already a player off the tally. HAVU will be missing a member. They only have his hat to take home. And now, aggressing on mid. Potentially want to move up short. SKADE, they've got a great setup for this. They've got a player on the A side, and a quick rotation can be called in from CT, especially because there is some utility to hold them back. Duplicate, as he has a smoke, and Rainwaker can supplement with a flashbang. Perhaps the time for rotations will be good enough. But how do they handle the explosiveness of HAVU as they start to move in? There's only 40 seconds on the clock, so the pressure to make a decision is looming around the corner. They've taken too long.
They have, I think, but what's troubling about SKADE is that they don't have too much utility, right? Only just one piece of flash. Smoke coming through as well from the mid side. It might be a fake, and that will be why HAVU will start pushing through. Free kill. Rainmaker missing out on his shots, and the flash hasn't been thrown yet from SKADE. Therefore, they still have an opportunity for that retake. Oxygen from the outside, disturbed with a swing, instantly takes him out of the serve with a bullet straight up the nostrils. X7 as well puts his mark onto shit. And other than that, there's nothing SKADE can do. It's a 2v4 endeavor. HAVU haven't lost too many players heading onto that site, and they'll be very happy in that regard as SKADE look to save their weapons.
I actually cannot believe that they're able to fake out SKADE in the last few seconds. Just sending one player down mid, sowing the seeds of doubt with just a singular smoke on CT, that was good enough to make sure that SKADE wouldn't be in the right positions. At the end of the day, or rather in the last vestiges of the round, I expected them to not be able to take control of the A side because there were 3 players ready and waiting. SKADE had the right setup. But based off of that one smoke and the player walking out on CT to get information on ships, that was good enough to seal the deal. 6-2 HAVU. They're off to a stellar start on the T side. And keep in mind, this was largely off of the initial momentum that HAVU were able to build up with those Desert Eagles.
Absolutely, and I think if you've noticed it, the Pinnacle odds have completely switched around and actually substantially in favor of HAVU currently. They've got a stellar lead and they keep things going. And talking about those odds, you guys can also bet on them heading over to pinnacle.com/odds, where you can also get a bonus of €10 after a €10 bet in Esports, but you need to sign up with the code CUP21, and of course you need to be a new customer. Of course, there are some terms and conditions that do apply, so make sure you check those out as well. But other than that, it's a good opportunity that you can take advantage of. You can also make payments onto Pinnacle using Trustly, an easy way and fast way to make transactions online with now no major difficulties. SKADE, though, I can see focused faces all around, right? Every single one of them wants to get back into this, but the fact that they're challenged when it comes to money, then that's where things do get tough, because HAVU can get a really great lead here.
That is going to be the underlying narrative for SKADE for the most part of the first half, and that's because they dropped the ball initially to the Deagles, and that puts them on a race against money rather than the enemy team. SKADE, maybe they can show us a bit of magic with the Desert Eagles as well, but to be honest, I generally say that it's easier to hold off with the Deagles if you're on the CT side, but it's not really the same case on Dust 2. The reason for that is how long range the duels can be. On long, it's a very long range duel. I mean, of course, it's in the name. Short can be a very fickle affair. Same for mid. So I feel like if there's anyone that can overpower with the Deagles, it might even be the T side more often than not. But let's see if SKADE can make a dent here. We've got 2 players on the recovery, trying to chime into the battle. Few scratches have been taken by the terrorist side, but for the most part, this should be a pretty easy cleanup round for the terrorist side.
Yeah, the highlight for me that round was nothing that SKADE was able to bring out, and to be honest, nothing that HAVU was able to bring out. It was that cinematic shot over there, the A long side. It was beautiful, spectacular. Molto bene. Good job, production team. Nice stuff. HAVU, though, 6-2 so far, and as previously mentioned, likely to be a 7th for them as well, which is a 5-round lead for them. Considering SKADE, they've got some decent performances on Dust 2. That's not what they want, is it? But they need to bounce back as soon as possible, and they know of this. Dennisler will try and do some extra damage in that regard, but it's unlikely he'll find too much. Although a few players of the HAVU side is low, so he could still put a dent into their lineup. Apart from that, it is HAVU's round for the taking.
They're already at the point where they no longer have to worry about money at all. Just look at the stacks of gold that they've got. Zori almost on 16k. Everybody's above that. And they're on that 5-digit mark. Slowy's the only one that has only a Lamborghini instead of a Bugatti. But okay, I guess he'll take it.
Who wouldn't? I mean, I don't know why. Do you consider Lamborghini being worse than a Ferrari? I'm not even sure, but let's push through. X7 does want to agree with that testament. Pushes through. Oh, through the smoke as well. Hello, Oxygen. He's out of that, but Dennisthal quickly on the fight. Puts himself in a really sneaky position. Smoke will allow him to cross away. And HAVU, how do they deal with this? They've lost 2 players, but the same could be said about SKADE. Oh, Dennisthal was too greedy in that angle, but the trade comes out from Ships. 2 on 2. Ships throws some extra utility to keep his opponents at bay, as the rest of his team, Rainwaker actually, the only player that is apart from him alive on the server, will try and go for the wraparound.
HAVU don't actually know where these players are, so it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to get onto the bomb site and also anticipate the flank. At this point in time, this is a round that is favored for SKADE. As long as they can get there in time before they start checking the flank, this should be it. But Zori wants to check it, comes around the corner. That's the AWP kill. Does he anticipate the second one? And the audio cue should be given up. The AUG is the perfect weapon to deal with this. Jumping up on top of the box, Disturbed has been taken out of the server. It's just Ships remaining. The advantage of the AWP, but as the AUG creeps closer, it gets a bit harder. A flashbang to get himself into position. Ships wants to creep on forward. A Molotov, keep him at bay. Does Zori manage to catch him on the cross? Not at all. Ships doesn't have a kit though.
Zori scoped out on that instance, and that for that reason, it is difficult, but it's the kit. Oh, the molly goes wide. He doesn't stick it though. Spray down, connects with a headshot, but no time remaining. He'll run away with the AWP, but it's HAVU who'll run away with a round victory.
That's 4 kills for Ships that still don't culminate into a round. You can start to see the pressure on SKADE. This is the first match of the day, and it's already not going the way of SKADE at all. HAVU, I think they woke up on the right side of the bed, and SKADE might have gotten wrapped up in the covers, fallen off of bed. That's how I wake up generally, I mean.
Well, 4 players on the HAVU side made an investment into their weapons, and they still aren't on that 5-digit mark. It's insane. It is insane. I think now 2 of them are likely down to that 4-digit mark. Yeah, Zore and Lowy, but look at the full buy from Disturb X7 and Aerial. It's so comfortable.
It's just oh man, there's so little that SKADE can do to prevent HAVU from getting to double digits. Once again, the initiative from Ships will be all that matters here. Because he's got the big green goblin, perhaps if he can catch something on mid, that would be the opening blow. But speaking of opening blows, Duplicate has received 1 to the head. A crossing smoke being deployed by Aerial, that should allow mobility towards short. And for the most part, HAVU, they're already starting to run away with a fair bit of control. The AWP unable to be repositioned in a way that it can actually find duels, so you can see that Ships is just stuck in between a rock and a hard place. There's not much he can do to contest.
Yeah, I wanted to see what Dennisthal was going to go in that position, but they sort of got a crossfire going on towards mid. This long challenge will only be affecting Duplicate in the close future. Oxygen will look to find himself onto the fight as well, but will it be quick enough? Duplicate peeks out, misses out on the first shot, swings every so often, but eventually gets shot down. Dennisthal, good for 1, then damage onto Disturbed, eventually has to fall. No, actually still alive, but does get shut down. Ships, what do you do with this 3v3? Still within their arms, a possibility for SKADE, but HAVU's been able to get the bomb down. No scope from Ships. Looks
second
up,
one.
follows it up with a second, and now Disturbed is solo. He's been challenged from all corners, and he's shut down, with SKADE getting themselves right back into the game.
I mentioned that Ships would have to take some initiative, but that's good enough on the retake, managing to get 2 very important kills. The no-scope and the follow-up. Those are 2 kills that simply shouldn't have been allowed. What a play from Ships. And to top it off, Dennisthal had an amazing performance as well. That is a 3K for him, by the way. Now, HAVU, they're still on the verge of double digits. They can still get it done. They can still run away with Dust 2 if they'd like to do so. But look at that from Ships, man. That could be the confidence being brought back, being breathed into the side of SKADE. And they've got
and
some money to work
jumping
with.
there at the end. Sorry for that, but imagine if he jumped and went for a quickly no scope.
Oh man,
that also hit that. That would be the highlight of the year.
Now, SKADE, they've got a double op set up, so at least they can start flexing their money a little bit more. They've got 6K on both Ships and Dennisthal, even though they are the AWP players. And Chips wants to take initiative. That has been the point that's been missing for the side of HAVU. And I love how carefully he's playing this. He's not over-aggressing, but he's been baited out. The shot's been fired, so he gets away with nothing. Now, they know the position of 1 AWP, but do they anticipate Dennis Law having one as well?
They don't really know that, right? They don't quite know if there's a second AWP play, but they know that there's a potential for it. It should be good enough at this point. Lining things up towards the B site, mid not being contested from SKADE, therefore the rotations would take quite some time to arrive. Therefore, if HAVU go for an aggressive push here. Looks like they will do just that. Smoke out defaultly, allowing them to spread across the site without being inflicted. Rainmaker, the position has been checked. Slow is able to put a shot right through his head. And now Ships is the man on site. The salvage player of the previous one gets 2 in the process. And I think that might be job done because it is still SKADE with the numbers advantage, and you can see all the players have already found their way in close proximity of this site. Challenging tunnels from 2 different directions at the same time could be the closer for X7. Does he expect Oxygen to move across that one as well? Flash out from HAVU. Down to a 2-on-2, but the damage has been expected from Oxygen. Zorine turns around, down to 4 points of health. Ooh. 1 shot required, but he misses it, and Duplicate will be able to capitalize on his mistake. And SKADE are still in this, getting themselves 2 rounds in a row.
That's once again Ship saving the day for them. Lots of individual performances have to come out from SKADE if they want to maintain the longevity of the series. And HAVU, where they once had a massive advantage, they're still slowly starting to lose their grip on it. This isn't the worst scoreline in the world anymore. From 8-2, SKADE are slowly salvaging the situation. Chips, you can see it in the replay. He was so proactive with how he wanted to make sure that his team would have a decent shot at a retake. He was already done and dusted, of course. There's no way he survives in that instance, so he wanted to claw some eyeballs out before he went out. Aerial, self-flashing himself in, but he takes a bullet to the body, and that'll slow his progress. Now, he doesn't know exactly where the CTs are, and he doesn't have any support either. He's going to need a flashbang if he wants to move on forward. Duplicate and Oxygen, do they even expect Aerial to be behind the smoke? Another player coming out of long will serve as a distraction. Ooh. Duplicate, he spotted it, but as the smoke is fading, Aerial has the advantage. It doesn't matter because Oxygen, he's reclaimed the advantage right back. That's an opening kill for the T side, though. And the AKs, they will reign supreme. Dennis Law, he's still on the server. He still wants to reclaim. He's still challenging, but he's been caught out. Half HP, wants to retreat the advantage on the T side. This is a game of cat and mouse.
It does seem like that. X7 also challenging from Catwalk as well. You said cat and mouse, and that's the avenue X7 looked to take. Dennis Law, the molly is going to be slow. He's down 4. I believe he was only had 4 points of health on him, and I think Rainmaker spotted out some feet flying across the air. Therefore, he realized the cross has commenced. Does he expect to play on Catwalk, though? I don't think he does. Hello, goodbye. X7 is able to deal with him, and HAVU are right back in the driver's seat.
That was so messy all across the board. The entry on long, the fact that Aerial's in a smoke, and then there's 2 challengers in the form of the CT side, just flashes, smokes, mollies. It honestly all just came down to the duels going the way of HAVU. But SKADE, this time around, they want to be very aggressive on long. Once again, they want to maintain full control. This, of course, leaves the mid vulnerable. It also leaves B's site a little easy to take over, but now Dennis Law has joined the battle here on mid. As they walk on forward, I don't think they're going to allow him the privilege of getting an easy pickup. That could have been a collateral, but it doesn't work out in their favor. Instead, the T's, they get away with 2. Rainwaker now has to desperately try to salvage the situation, but double mollies make sure they get knocked out of position. The CT side, they've been completely manhandled here, and Oxygen is the last man remaining.
He is. But he might just be what his name says he is. Oxygen. Just thin air. Because there's nothing really he can do about this scenario, is there? How does he expect there's going to be a player waiting for him here?
There's so much money on the T side that they even want to go for the hunt. There's no way they want to allow Oxygen to have a comfortable last round. And double digits, they've been secured for HAVU. 11th is guaranteed. Almost guaranteed.
Almost. I won't count SKADE out, considering this is Tier 2 Counter-Strike at its finest. But HAVU, they've done a stellar job, man. I think they surprised every one of us for playing so well so far. Obviously, this is their own map pick, but performing in a very decisive fashion is what they want. Auto snipe is being thrown out. HAVU, this is not the first time they've done this, right? Whenever they've got the money, it's the final round of the half. They buy 2 or 3 auto snipers to just give them an advantage straight out of the bat. Disturbed follows it up with a kill of his own, but Ships cause some damage on the other side of the map. Is that going to be enough, though? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think you might not be sure, but I think the probability is definitely leaning in the favor of HAVU. Double smokes to allow the cross, a flashbang as well. Ships, he's going to bank on the opportunity to capitalize on the flashbang, but he's only good for 1. Duplicate and Rainwaker now, they're starting to be shut down. Rainwaker taking a stray bullet to the body. This is going to be a very tough 1v2 retake, especially with the Molotov pushing him back. There's an auto sniper watching his angle, so I'm not even sure how he gets away with this. And look at where the bomb is planted. This is so difficult, Pavlos.
Ooh, nade out. This could be Rainwaker's chance to push on through. X7, he's just going to hold down an angle. He doesn't need to peek through. Pistol out. Guess it was to fake out with flash or something. But no, doesn't quite work out, does it? HAVU, they turn it around 11-4. There's a scoreline for them this half. They should be happy about that. Their own map pick going their way substantially so far. They just need to find the closer to make sure the confidence is going their way.
I think he threw his pistol there because he wanted to fake out the drop on CT. But that didn't work out in his favor anyway. Now, I'm not sure if SKADE have the fortitude to bulldoze their way back into this game, because I use that word because that's how they're going to have to do it. HAVU only 5 rounds away from the victory on map number 1. They've already made Dust 2 look like their ballpark. And we were contemplating the idea of there only being one team that can potentially get a 2-0, and it was SKADE, because they are comfortable on both of the first maps being played out. But right now, HAVU, they're looking like the better team.
They do look like that, and to be honest, I'd love to see the same from them on the next map, but let's see if they can draw this pistol round in their favor as they're now on the defense lineup. CT role being taken over, but Rainwaker quickly puts a dent through there and line up Oxygen as well. SKADE looking to bounce back instantly. It's not over till it's over, is it, for us? And I think SKADE are giving it their best go to get themselves right back in the game with this pistol.
You don't often expect a mid to B push on a pistol round. You generally expect more of an aim duel sort of approach. But it ends up working out for SKADE. HAVU, they were not prepared for it at all. And you know what? You can't count SKADE out of it at all. The reason I say that is, although the T side is, of course, favored for the comebacks when you are able to build up your money and whatnot, I mean, that's the rationale that we've often gotten into, and I do think that it's sort of a big part of the meta that the T side is easier to come back on. But because Dust 2 is such a 50-50 map, I think the T side is just bolstered even further because of that. SKADE, this is their opportunity to start putting up a few more coins in their pile of gold. And maybe, just maybe, thwart HAVU on the opportunity, on the basis of the opportunity of money. Economy won't be the best for them. And you can see that they are digging deep. A scout, a UMP, tripled Eagles. Let's see if HAVU can once again turn the tide on a second round.
Definitely hope to pull this off, right? Because this can put them right back in control over the reins of this matchup.
I think SKADE wants to push right into mid.
It does look like that. X7 is being challenged, looks to run away with his knife out. Duplicate not quite able to swing out to catch him off guard. Scout shot does come underway, so damage inflicted, but is that going to be good enough? Because SKADE is finding most of the damage. HAVU does get 1 kill in favor of Disturbed here. Ooh, nearly shuts down Duplicate. Not quite sure why he went down to 2 points of health without that being a headshot. And now, it does mean that HAVU are locked out of the site, and SKADE is the team to get this victory here.
I actually have no idea how Duplicate got tagged down to 3. As you mentioned,
was he full health, or was he damaged pre
because there was only 1 bullet that connected, right? I'm pretty sure he was full health. I think he might have gotten tagged through the wall, but it was a headshot. Maybe. I don't know. But that is an
Could
opportunity.
be an aid as well. No, he's
No,
the
I
only man
don't
there.
think- yeah, he was the only man there. Yeah, this is a mystery that we're going to have to unpack unless replay can show us that. But anyway.
You know what? I think it could easily be explained if Duplicate wasn't full health to get to start things off with. I reckon. I guess he was, I don't know, around that 60 health mark, 50 health mark.
Maybe.
Could have get chunked down. Could have gotten chunked down by X7 Scout. You know.
Perhaps. But yeah, getting back into the game, SKADE. This is finally their opportunity to do it. Oh, okay, we get to see it. Now, I still have no idea. This doesn't make it any easier. Why would you do this to me, production? that doesn't answer anything.
Well, you know, guys, what can answer your prayers is Pinnacle, because they've got all the latest odds when it comes to this SKADE and HAVU matchup. You guys can make a nice little bet coming your way. You can also get €10 in return after the €10 bet over at Pinnacle by using the code CUP21 upon sign up. You'll get €10 in return after that bet. It's a good opportunity for you guys to get some free money back and try something out. Why not? But make sure you do bet responsibly and only bet what you can afford. It should be a fun endeavor, and don't go haywire, you know, be responsible. Well, SKADE 2-0 so far in the half. They're looking to close things up here, especially considering that HAVU have to go for an eco.
HAVU, they've got Zori on the flashbang. He just wants to flash them out so they can have a better shot at putting the pistols to good use. SKADE. The information on mid will be a bit lacking because HAVU, they're constantly making players cross back and forth, and they even chucked a flashbang in the middle, so things are a bit uncertain. Zori, he pops off with the first shot, but he reloads out in the open. That is a big mistake. Flashbang is great, but he can still get shut down. The UMP now wants to chime in. The spray down almost connects. It's Denislaw and Duplicate starting to take a bit of damage. Slowly makes it expensive. His Deagle comes to the light, but he still needs to find one more. It's Rainwaker on the AK. And now that Slowy's managed to recover one, the bomb is being planted.
Oh, he's feeling it. Oh, he's going for it. He's got a smoke available. I guess he would have loved to have a flash as well, but no. Holds back for a little bit longer to make his opponent think that a rotation from tunnels is possible.
Oh, it's all going to come down to timing, won't it?
Oh, he's going to peek out. Corner was held by Rainwaker, therefore he won't be challenged. Didn't have to move his crosshair at all, really, to shoot him down. And for that reason, SKADE come out on top.
I really like that positioning, by the way. It's a bit unorthodox to stand outside the tunnel in the corner instead of in the tunnel itself. Because generally speaking, if somebody peeks out, they're going to pre-aim tunnel, they're going to pre-aim the boost box, and then they pre-aim car. So you can catch them on the first peek very comfortably. A little microplay goes a long way, saves him a clutch. Denislaw, though, he's putting the op to good use now. That's what we like to see. We already know that SKADE, a lot of their success hinges on the ops, but let's see if they can head on to the B bomb site. Slowly pops off with the first shot. A second one comes his way. HAVU, this is where they start making a dent, but maybe Ships can recover. Gets the headshot. Now they have two players to worry about. It's a 3 versus 2, and SKADE, they've lost the advantage that Denislaw had previously gotten them.
Slumy's had so much impact this game so far, not only on the T side, but now on the CT side, drawing 3 kills in his favor as the push commenced that. Make that 4. Potential for an ace, really, if it's given by his teammate, but I don't think they want to risk losing any more weapons in this situation. Therefore, whoever finds the kill will be happy to retrieve it. Ships, though, going to make it a difficult situation as he's able to get a kill onto Zori. Looking to challenge in that 1v2. Moving up onto the window area, but there's 2 very different angles. One of them only is checking this position, but as soon as that information is given, both of them would turn their attention towards it. Ships giving away an audio cue as if he was going to jump onto a window, but the smoke will keep him out. Bomb not under his control, knows his chances are slim. I wonder if he actually goes for it. It seems like he's lingering. He's got a few seconds to consider this. Maybe to wait for the utility, but it's been resmoked again, and the chances of him clutching this round is dwindled away. Now they should know that some sort of this play is coming out. Nade, that gives away his position. Now the 2 players can turn their attention towards this angle, and Ships knows of this. He falls back, and he just does the AWP. He will save it, no problem whatsoever, but it's HAVU to get themselves a piece of the pie on the second half.
Yeah, this is a good decision by him. He knows that the chances at a 1v2 are growing slimmer and slimmer. And initially he was waiting for the second, or rather the first piece of utility to be expired, but he didn't anticipate them having an additional smoke. Now that he didn't have 2 avenues to approach from, he knows that it's over. Just saves the AWP. Perhaps it's passed on over to Denislaw. Yeah, he's gonna get an AK for himself. That is, of course, HAVU getting the lead back. Or, well, they hadn't lost it in the first place, but now they can sort of get the ball rolling. Didn't have too much success on the second half, but this is where they've picked up the first round. Zori, putting his AWP to work, has managed to tag down Denislaw. The opposing op are already so low on health that a gust of wind would certainly mean death. SKADE. Starting to head on to long and short. Just one on short. Zori barely hit that shot.
One up shot, one headshot, but both through the wall, therefore no closer. 4v4 as the trade has commenced eventually. But Zori has repositioned, giving SKADE some room to work with onto this long side and Sindri, so they don't get flanked upon from 2 positions simultaneously. Aerial wins out on his trade, therefore things are getting slightly easier. They can fully turn their attention towards A long now, but the boost will come out as well. Will that be anticipated? Will they expect an extra player onto the site? Smoke to give Zori some extra space. Playing a very close angle with the AWP, connects the shot. Ships jumps above, finds one, but it's still 2v3. Zori jumps above, will he get spotted? Ships, he's so fast to the trigger. 1 kill more to be added to the tally, and now it's down to a 2-on-2. Now the bomb needs to be recollected. Smoke out as well, disturbed. How does he play around this? No, there's Denislaw is in the angle, and it'll be an easy picking for him. Bomb goes down, it's all down to Aerial peeking through. Ships knows exactly where he's coming from, and it's SKADE right back into the game with an 8th.
That was so good for HAVU, but SKADE somehow, they can claw their way back into it. Ships and Denislaw putting in the work, even with barely any HP left at the end. All that matters is the round, the fact that they got through with it. What was that from Ships? Just a wild swing out. I think he anticipated the AWP to go for an extra angle and just wildly swung out. Works out in his favor, and that's all that SKADE wanted. Now HAVU back down to the pistols. This makes it an interesting affair. The pistols don't really have too much of a shot, and Denislaw camping in T-spawn makes it a lot easier for his team to move around the map without having to worry too much. Slowly, maybe he can put that USP to good use, and Aerial's actually gotten away with 2 now. This is somewhat palatable, but Rainwaker is there in tunnels, and he's there to secure it.
SKADE, they're looking more and more comfortable now on this T side. Obviously, the buy didn't look great from SKADE, and now it will come through. I mean, from the HAVU side, actually. But still, considering that SKADE have been able to find quite a lot of rounds, HAVU is still the one favorite according to the Pinnacle odds when it comes to this best of 5 series. But I love the way the Bulgarians have started to pull themselves back into this game. And HAVU lacking an AWP as well. That could be an interesting dynamic when it comes to their lineup.
SKADE heading on over to short now with a flashbang. They would only have to deal with 1 player, and M4A1S is all that stands in between them and the bomb site. And this is a relatively faster take. This is not something we've grown accustomed to. SKADE, they want to move right on in. The Molotovs allowing them to have a bit more mobility going into this. Aerial wants to play close. He hasn't given up his position at all. Wants to be a thorn in their side until the very end, but this is where he starts to take the duels. They still haven't spotted him. He doesn't get a chance to even interrupt the bomb plan. He's waiting for reinforcements right in enemy territory.
Oh, the timing might be right. Denislaw gets shut down. Aerial puts his dent onto the oxygen as well. Puts a bullet onto Rainwaker. No, actually, that's not true. But Ships comes in for the wraparound. Is able to delete Zori out of existence, but it's down to 1-on-1. Smoke out. Is he going to stick it? I think he might.
He might.
Oh, he's holding down the button. He's holding it down, and he's able to retrieve it as well. How on earth? 13-9 as HAVU get themselves right back into it.
I have no idea how Aerial can sneak into enemy territory for that long, be left unchecked, and get away with 3 kills. How about it? That is good stuff from Aerial. He kind of held the A side down single-handedly. All he needed was the distractions from his teammates, just so that they would no longer be checking ramp, especially because SKADE had thrown 3 Molotovs to try to clear it out. So this is a masterful game being played by Aerial. Long control now established. SKADE don't want to capitalize on this. Instead, they'll be walking back. They know that HAVU don't have anybody close by to even try to contest it, so this is information being denied for the CT side and control being taken by SKADE. A Molotov thrown by HAVU, that allows them to peek into mid and in lower tunnels. The MP9s, though, they can't really do too much off of this. Being caught with utility. Ships is good for 2, and that should be the bomb side, unless Zori has something to say about it. He voices his concerns, but he's only good for 1 complaint.
Ooh, interestingly enough, I think that shot went through the wall there, so Denislaw can't quite find the closer. Just like Warow, for years, hasn't found one. But no, HAVU. As soon as they get themselves back into the game, it seems like SKADE is unscathed by it. They don't care at all. And they look to get themselves onto that double digits mark and contest for this map victory. I'm really liking this World 80. This is a good set of Counter-Strike.
If SKADE can somehow get a bit of a comeback going on map number 1, this would be excellent Counter-Strike being watched, because this is HAVU's map pick. This is what they should be comfortable on. They've got a solid win percentage. They've been winning 2 out of 3 of their games. And as we mentioned in the pregame, they've been so successful on it. They beat out Fiend 16. Sorry.
You got this. You got this.
Yeah. I was gonna say that HAVU have beaten out teams like MIBR and Fiend 16-3 and 16-6 respectively. So if SKADE can somehow topple them, that would be massive.
It says a lot, doesn't it? Pushing right through, though. SKADE going instantly onto the B-bomb side, but do they expect 4 players from the HAVU side to be here? This could be a finisher. This could be changing the tides, but no. SKADE win out on all ends apart from 1, as Aerial is the only man to get a kill through that in Endeavor. SKADE, they get themselves an 11th, and they are a breath away from their opponents.
SKADE's performance on Dust 2 is already way better against HAVU than their Bulgarian counterparts. Fiend were not even able to have much to say in this regard, but SKADE are showing us why they're the top dogs of Tier 2, why they're the top dogs of the Bulgarian scene. And maybe this can still be a 2-mapper affair. We are about to find out, though, because HAVU, they themselves, they're a powerhouse. And a B-side push is guaranteed to come now.
Smoke out, disturbed. Holding it out. Duplicate pushing through. Disturbed. Good shot. Denislaw does reply. Denislaw wants a quick piece of this action, as the rest of HAVU want to join in on the fray, but the bomb hasn't been planted yet. Rainwaker challenged by trying to get that bomb under their exposure, under their hands, but to their own control, actually. Took me a while to find that word, but down to 3v4 as Aerial looks to aggress, not giving them much space. Denislaw holds his ground, therefore tunnels can no longer be an avenue of entry. They peek on through, the flashes will confuse them, but Denislaw and Rainwaker both went out on their occasions, and that means that Zori is left all by himself. There's nothing he can do but just watch SKADE close the gap little by little. And after this bomb ticks away, after the explosion, there will only be 1 singular round distinguishing the 2 team scores.
Had Denislaw not been able to pick up his kill in B tunnels, it would have changed everything. They would have been unable to hold down against a retake, but they did. Even a missed shot is something that HAVU weren't able to capitalize on, and that's good enough for them. Denislaw will happily take that opportunity. And looking at the scoreboard at the moment, I mean, Slowey and Ships, they're going neck and neck, but I do feel like Ships is pulling a lot more weight on his side of the spectrum, because he's approaching that 30 bomb while the second player on his roster is only at 15. You can at least see the scores being somewhat more matched on the HAVU squad, but this is where SKADE are starting to come back. It doesn't matter who's performing, there just needs to be some lights out performances as a whole. X7, first man in charge, he's going to be the first one to take contact. The Deagle doesn't come to light. And look at how Ships can just line up one after the other.
Yeah, now HAVU They can just move across this with a... Well, SKADE, not HAVU. SKADE are the ones getting themselves onto the site, and it looks like they're unhurt in the process. Really not dropping a singular player. Ships, he's the most hurt out of all of them, but still finds the cojones to kind of get himself onto a ledge, be out in the open, and still come out victorious with the kills. Pulling out the deagle as well. Doesn't even need the big rifle that he has under his exposal. It's ridiculous. Ships, he's been enabled this game. It's shown time and time again. And him consistently bringing out this performance starts to put question marks in everyone's brains, thinking, can HAVU build back the momentum they require to get this game under their control? Because, like previously mentioned in the pre-game, SKADE, if there's any team to get a 2-0, it's them. And they might look to do just that.
The problem here, Pavlos, is that HAVU are no longer favored. SKADE have closed out the gap. SKADE have a lot of money. And this is sort of the position that HAVU was in the first half, where they had complete control of the economy, the pace of the game, the momentum, everything. Keep in mind, this started off with something like 11-4. So for SKADE to bring it this close, this is a comeback in the making. Can HAVU stop it now that they've lost all the mental fortitude that they previously built up? SKADE. They've already gotten the first opening frag, courtesy of Denislaw popping off with the AWP. But can the sniper do more? That question has been answered immediately. Oxygen gets 2 of his own. It's just Aerial remaining, and HAVU, in a snap, they faded away.
Usually when I see a double up setup on the T side on Dust 2, it gives question marks. But SKADE, no. You instantly feel the change in dynamic and how strong it is. Ships and Denislaw both withholding that big gun of greed instantly puts them on top. Their transgressions have not been ignored. They are dirty players, and now it's a 14-13 affair. And looking on the T side, they have had an ungodly performance.
And you can see that being reflected in the odds as well. SKADE heavily favored to take this now, 1.3 some to 3.2 for HAVU. You can see signs of desperation. They've come down to the pistols. Aerial's the only one that even holds on to an M4, and he wants to take initiative. Using a teammate as a step ladder, perhaps he can get a free kill, but that should be about it. All of the attention from SKADE is towards the right side of the map, save for one player watching mid with a deagle. So this could be incredibly detrimental. If SKADE can walk over to the B site, that will be free information being given up. But both teams, they are too scared to have the initial approach. HAVU's still trying to perhaps find out where the M4 is, which is why they're playing it so slow.
Perhaps. Does seem like that could be the case. But I like that SKADE are sort of playing this sort of calm approach, playing knowing that HAVU, if they're given the chance, they can come back. Even with the Deagles. They've done it twice so far this game. And if given the chance, I believe they'll try and do it again. What is lucklustering the most on their behalf is that nades power that they can bring out. And they don't have any of it. Duplicate, though, will peek out through this corner. Does he expect 2 players holding it out? It's a very unorthodox way to hold down a long, but one has been taken out of the equation, and so will the other. They will follow suit in the same fashion, although one has been found by Aerial. Zore will try to put a dent into their lineup. I believe he'll try and save this AWP than anything else, because SKADE, they're looking in a prime position to close out this round and put themselves on map point on their opponent's map pick.
I'm not sure if that background noise made it through to the stream. Were you able to hear it, Pavlos?
No, actually, what?
Oh, that was just my Doug going a bit wild.
as always, he's excited. He's excited.
Happens a lot more in the morning. It just gets a bit excited by doorbells and whatnot.
Oh, what's your duck called, by the way? Don't think I've ever asked. Debbie?
Never.
I don't think I've ever asked.
Pavlos, this is the last game we're ever going to cast together.
I'm asking now, so it's better late than never, no?
All right. It's called Bob.
Bob! Oh, I love that. Bob the Duck. That's such a good name.
It's a female duck, by the way.
I thought so. I thought so. That's why I initially thought Debbie or something, and then B was in there. Okay. All right. Okay. Bob the female dark.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's just to throw people off.
Well, it definitely threw me off. Oh, I love how they look into the cameras. I mean, I don't love the fact that they're sort of upset when it comes to it, but SKADE looking to give HAVU the same
Stare down?
mixture of their poison like they were inflicted before, they were given before. But it doesn't quite work out in their favor, does it?
This might be one of the first times on the CT side where HAVU have had a decisive advantage. It might be late, but it's better late than never. They still have the opportunity to take it to overtime, and what a way it would be to start the day, Pavlos. To start with an overtime on map 1 of the first match.
I think this time is perfect for Counter-Strike, right? Around that 11 p.m. time, 10 p.m. This is the time that I guess all the players have had some time to wake up. They feel fresh. They haven't been hurt by all their news around Dennis Law. How about that? He even lines up a second. 16-13. SKADE take their opponents as map pick, and they are really happy with the standings in this series. We'll be here right after the break as it's their turn to play on their own home ground.
Welcome back, everybody. You're watching a Pinnacle Cup II, where we just saw SKADE get a decisive comeback against HAVU to shut them down on Dust 2, which was HAVU's own map pick, by the way. I'm joined by none other than X-Warriors, so let's get Overpass on the road, shall we?
Absolutely. Pistol round to come underway, and it's SKADE to get themselves started on the T side. Duplicate moving through. First man to lead the charge. Looking for the shots, but they hide away into safety. Toxic still not challenged. Disturbed makes his mark known. X7 chimes in as well. This is clean stuff from HAVU, not giving SKADE an inch. Instantly allowing them to trickle onto this site and bamboozle them from all different corners. Smoke keeps them alive. They've only dropped one play in the process, but the rotations are already coming in. Look at the wraparound. There's nothing that ships can do, especially he's being backstabbed from area. And for that reason, HAVU get themselves a first round of this map.
This is something they desperately needed, by the way, because they've, as I mentioned as we kick things off, HAVU have already lost their own map pick. They need a miracle to get their mental back. Keep in mind, they were up 11-4 on Dust 2, and they still ended up dropping the ball. And SKADE, I'm a bit surprised that they immediately go with the initial timeout, but in the meantime, that does give us a chance to talk about Pinnacle. Where if you go to pinnacle.com/Oz, you can use code CUP21 to sign up. And there's a sign-up bonus right now where if you bet 10 euros, you can get 10 euros back. But remember, terms and conditions do apply, and that you should only gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose, and if you're betting, stop when the fun stops.
Man, you say you're surprised that SKADE are getting this timeout. I wouldn't say I'm not surprised, but I'm actually really happy they did that. I'm actually really glad they go for that approach. They know that they need to head into this with confidence, and they need to make sure they don't allow their opponents to get an inch. They have a chance for a 2-0 here, and they want to take advantage of it.
I don't think HAVU is the type of team that will allow a 2-0, though. We don't really see that often in their history either. SKADE. Should be a clean wrap-up from them, as SKADE have opted to not go for any sort of a buy. They're counting on the money that trickles in from the next round to simply be enough to overpower the weaponry, which should be the case. Keep in mind, SKADE in the next round, they should have AKs, and that'll significantly overwhelm anything that HAVU can throw at them with just MP9s and a UMP if Hamas thrown in there for good measure. But for the most part, I don't really expect this to be much for SKADE, to be honest. Chips is soon to fall, only 2 points of health for him.
Ooh. To be honest, it's not too great of a victory for Ships. Especially considering that, sorry, was on hot pursuit of them. 2-0 for the Finns to get things going, but SKADE didn't go for the full enforcement buy, therefore they still have a chance. Look at the Pinnacle odds. SKADE definitely favoured considering they had that first map under wraps, but can they perform as anticipated? I'm not even sure if it even is anticipated really in this map, is it?
I actually don't think that SKADE are as favored to win the game as the Pinnacle odds might suggest, because honestly, HAVU can absolutely bring it back. They are no strangers to comebacks. They are no strangers to beating out even better teams. Let's see if they can make it work. Ships has picked up an SG, AK-47s across the board. And with this weaponry advantage, can SKADE come out on top? They're all lined up outside B. They only have one player in the form of a lurker in playground, making sure that nobody can aggress on forward, but they are getting ready for a B push, aren't they?
Does look like that. Smoke against a big reinforced with oxygen. Peeks through. Headshot connects. X7 quickly to bounce back. Peeks through for a second time and runs away with a kill. Close distance for the MP9 is exactly what you need. Rainmaker puts a bullet through X7's head. But is that going to be good enough? 2v3 as the players have already found their way onto this site. Bomb now picked up, an AK-47 switch from Ships, looking to go aggressive, but the AWP from Zore will hold its ground, and there's a 3-0 endeavor to get the Finns quickly out of the bat, exploding their way to victory.
That was perfect from X7. The way he was weaving in and out of battle with the MP9, that was perfect. And because they can pick up that round with relative ease, now they can upgrade. They don't need to play off of that bonus round anymore. Instead, they give SKADE a pat on the back of the head. Bit of a tongue twister to say, but yeah.
Pat on the back of the head.
Pavlov's pat on the back of the head.
Oh well, it happens. Oxygen. Ooh, spicy. Can SKADE bring out madness that we saw HAVU do with the deal rounds the previous map? I don't think Zoro will give them too much of a space, too much of damage. Talk about tongue twisters before for us. Do you have a favorite tongue twister? I don't think we've ever had that discussion.
How many plays would a Pavlos botch if a Pavlos could botch plays? All of them.
That's good. That's good. You just came up with that, I imagine.
Yeah, I did.
That is impressive. No, bravo. Okay. How many plays would a Pavlos botch if a Pavlos could botch
Pavlos?
plays?
Come on, you're forgetting your name.
This is my own name, see? So it is a good tongue twister.
Okay,
Good on you, mate. That's even a good. That's a good one. Okay, I need to think of one now.
Speaking of thinking of something, I think SKADE are thinking about hitting the B bomb site, but they don't really have too much time to work with. That's some information being granted, but that's also the audio cue being given up by Ships. Water is the only point of contact that they'll have initially, but reinforcements are coming in from heaven. It's going to be incredibly hard to get the bomb down with X7 looming around the corner. He's got the flashbang at the ready, and he is able to pick up the first kill. Ships simply doesn't have enough time to get the bomb down, but he will try to do that regardless. He gets the first. How does he not get the first kill?
Ooh.
He had it. All he had to do was hold down mouse 1. I think that might have just been a slip-up or something.
Happens to the pros as well, but yeah, there you go. Doesn't only happen to people called Pavlos like me. People botch plays all the time. And SKADE, at least they've got a buy going for them now. AWP into the hands of Dennis Law. Of course, this is a CT endeavor, and when SKADE find the comfort of that CT side, that is when they come out ahead. That is when their dominance is shown. And so far, they haven't really shown too much excellence when it comes to the other side of the map, when it comes to being the terrorist in this whole endeavor.
I still don't feel too comfortable for HAVU because they were able to give up an 11-4 lead, and SKADE, they want to replicate that just now. Oxygen, he is like a Ferrari coming around corners. Not even seen as he makes his mark. HAVU now with only 3 players remaining. They're dedicating all of their resources to the A bomb site, but I don't think SKADE are going to walk into this high and dry. Oxygen, he puts his 3rd mark on the tally and even gets some spare change before he will fall. That is a massive 3K for him, and it's going to be very hard for HAVU to recover. SKADE making sure that they check the flank. Disturbed, his position's been spotted out, and this is where Denislaw should decisively be able to pick him up. I like how they send a player back to make sure that they can't get the AWP.
Yeah, but a microplay that did caught my eye was the one where Oxygen initially pushed through, but it was simultaneously with a simultaneous push and play when there was an extra player on party, a different levitation, and a different sort of on the x-axis as well position where the AWP needs to have its attention towards. And this jiggle peeking from both ends confused the AWP holding down connector. And for that reason, it was a much simpler endeavor for Oxygen to just swing past them and go for the shot. I really love that microplay. And I'm just going to assume they meant to do it. Denislaw already putting a mark onto Zora as they look to trickle onto the B site.
Yeah, they wanted to have that AWP being the first point of contact. They can't even recover it. Now, they have to hit these Desert Eagle shots, SKADE. They don't want to fully commit just yet, but they've naded out Toxic, and that puts X7 in a very tricky spot. An additional smoke being thrown out to allow themselves to get up close to Monster, maybe find that AWP, but I like that attention to detail. They tried to molly out the AWP, but it's still been picked up by Disturbed. Can he make a dent now, especially with X7 being tagged heavily as well through the smoke? X7 no longer has a say on the server. Still 3 players remaining for the HAVU side, and they have double ops, so perhaps we still see some signs of brilliance, and this is where Disturbed gets an opportunity to do just that.
Disturbed. The angle is perfect. Slowly may see the barrel of his opponent's weapon, but they linger slightly. Flash pulls back. Aerial. Oompa Loompa at hand. Duplicate is able to deal with him down to 2 on 4. Disturbed as well. Chimes in, but Denislaw quick to react. That's 2 kills to this man's name so far, as the rest of them have been trades. And slowly realizes this situation isn't quite favorable for him. He'd rather save that AWP. But if I had skins like his, I'd rather save them all. Because look at that. The pistol is marvelous. The knife, don't know what they're called. Any of them. I'm not knowledgeable in that prospect of Counter-Strike. But I know when the skin looks nice, and he's got good ones.
Are you the kind of person that falls for those skin scams on like Steam? where they just show you a somewhat like slightly better looking skin, and then they just send you the wrong trade offer? I bet you go like, ooh, shiny, give it to me. Then you lose like thousands of dollars.
I know why you'd think that, but no, I'm actually pretty resilient to those trade offers. It takes me a few. It takes me like I actually go into like a deep discussion with those guys.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Click on this link. It's steercommunity.com. Click on it.
I actually try and become friends with these guys first, like try and learn where they're from, what they do for a living, and actually convince them that I'm about to press that link. I just want to get into a discussion with them, acting like I'm friendly. Haul. I'm just being friendly, you know. But I know they're a scammer, so in my eyes, it's just like, oh, scammer. What a nincompoop. Just to avoid another word of describing them. But yeah, it's yeah, I'm the kind of guy that likes wasting their time as they waste mine. You know, Duplicate though gets 1 kill on the process. It should be an easy round for SKADE, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be. The longer you keep them on the hook, the more time they don't have to scam somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I sort of think of it. But in the process, I guess I kind of waste my own time. So is that worth it? You know, you have to kind of like make these logistics in your brain.
Yeah, Pavlos, you're in computer science, right? Maybe you could code a bot that collects data on how scammers approach things and just automatically responds to them to waste their time. Maybe that could be like a final year project or something.
Oh yeah, I should consider that for my thesis, shouldn't I?
Wasting scammers' time, and then you could maybe have a potential tally for how much money you've saved other people by wasting time, based on like an aggregate average of how much money a scammer generally makes.
Imagine if you had like a Chrome extension, you know, like Grammarly has for whatnot for your correcting, or any extension that basically allows you to send emails, emails or messages wherever the scams are coming from, straight back to the scammer to just waste time. That would be amazing.
People,
that's a 100 IQ. Yeah, that is a 200 IQ idea.
If enough people install it, it would just be scammers wasting their time all day. Oh my God! Wait, write that down. Close the stream. I don't think we need to reveal this idea.
Oh yeah, close it. The idea is ours. But yeah. Scratch that. I think let's put that to the side. Note it down for a future endeavor. Maybe if casting doesn't work out for us, that could be our avenue to success. But I think SKADE, they've had a 3-round lead. I like the boost coming through. Is it going to be quick enough? Yes, it is. Dennis Law, quick on the trigger where Disturbed looked to push. That boost, you cannot waste a second. You cannot make a mistake. And they were able to perform it to perfection. Good stuff from SKADE to get themselves a numbers advantage.
They've been able to do it time and time again, and that's why I initially said that I don't feel too comfortable with HAVU's lead, because SKADE are no strangers to taking it right back. The first map that they ended up winning was off of a comeback as well, 11-4 to 16-14. That is massive, and SKADE want to do it once more. The T side might not be as strong on Overpass as it is on Dust 2, but maybe SKADE get another boost kill here as they peek out. Not quite having the timing, but at least they haven't given off the audio cues to Ships. He has multiple attempts at finding a head over the wall. Oh no, Slowy, he's anticipating it. The molly and the nade stack. This is going to be a juicy amount of damage, and the head's been spotted as well, so this is perfect info.
A lot of information, a lot of damage, making it easy for the M4s to chunk the SKADE players down. And Slovo is taking a slower approach onto this take. Realizes that taking a wide corner here would make him exposed to the elements. Oh no, the nade slowed him down, and it's the molly to close him out. Aerial looks away in the wrong time, and Exogen is able to capitalize on that. 2v5, Slowy makes his way around, puts bullets straight through Duplicate, but repositions for another piece of the cake. But no, Rainmaker says no to that, doesn't give him the knife or the cake, and gifts that cake and puts it in his own fridge. He says, I'm gonna have that later for a snack. And Zori is all by himself, realizing that he's late to the party, and there's nothing he can do about it. He's not even on the invited list.
I mean, he can still head on over to a party, but that's a location on the map. But maybe he isn't even invited to that, because there are two people that are playing that are in hot pursuit. Perhaps they catch off Zori here. Don't think he's going to have a grand old time saving over here.
No.
Almost misses the shots, but now that his position's been telegraphed, he will be intercepted from long, and that is SKADE getting the tie-up and bolstering their economy to near indomitable standpoints.
Oh, and you can see that the Pinnacle odds are putting their faith in SKADE currently, right? Look at that. Oh, increasing even further. Okay, I agree with that testament in a way, but I'm a little bit reserved. They talked about HAVU and their capabilities of turning the games instantly in a very demanding fashion, but SKADE, they find the equalizer, and they may even find the lead in the current standings, considering the two economies of each side.
SKADE want to be very careful with this round. They've been quite methodical with how they've approached the entire game plan. They need to continue just that. This should be a nade that takes away most of Zari's soul away from his body. Could have almost been a simple spray down, but Aerial, he's only been tagged for half. This is where they chase him down. Duplicate, he's also good for a kill of his own, so for the most part, oh no, the Deagle! It can still make it a doable affair, but Rainmaker will be able to catch him off the slit. X7, he's in the back lines. Oh no, he gave up his position. That was an opportunity. But the CZ75, it still reigns supreme with only 12 points of health. Perhaps he can still keep them off the bomb. SKADE Could this be an oversight? It's a 1v1. Whoever catches the other first, they would end up winning out the duel. Denislaw is not checking it. X7, does he know that the bomb's been recovered? This is perfect timing for Denislaw, and he can walk on straight to connector. And I think Denislaw even realizes that X7's repositioning was around the A side. He can waltz on over to B and get the bomb plant for free.
They just walked past each other. But I think Denislaw will be more happy than this endeavor rather than X7. He took the gamble to hold on to onto the A site, and that doesn't hold true. Both guys with a kill to their names. X7. How do you approach this? Goes for that heaven angle initially. But Denislaw, he doesn't even need to hold nearby. I believe there could be some information that X7 has been shunked down. And therefore, Denislaw is going to play around with a pistol initially in case of the push. Ooh, that smoke will deny the molly. That's the information play from X7. He will actually stick it. Pistol shots coming out. Finds the shot. Only one was required. And there you go. Denislaw gives his team the victory. But I don't think it should have been such an expensive affair.
Once again, HAVU get a chance to bring it a bit closer. At least they forced rebuys. Yes, it's been quite expensive, but SKADE have a 5-round streak. HAVU, 3 of their rounds were off of the pistol, so I'm starting to doubt the sustainability of the CT side. Perhaps Zori can still manage to land a few punches with the AWP, though. SKADE, control of connector, 3 in party, 1 outside B long. So a bit of a split style of play where they try to approach all angles. Have some investments in all stocks. An early smoke towards toilets does allow them to move up closer. But this is HAVU playing it a bit differently now. Where they were initially aggressing in toilets, they're not doing that anymore. Instead, they're allowing Zori to simply hold a close angle. And he should be able to find the frag here. Spots a barrel. That's good enough for him to take off an elbow. It might have been one of the few instances where HAVU actually have the initial advantage.
Backdrop from the initial angle. Zori was holding out, making sure that upper garden is also being checked over. Smoke to though. Evade the eyes of HAVU. Ships looking to peek through it in a contact fashion. Will be re-smoked again though. Ships won't have the advantage to peek through it. It looks like SKADE know exactly what they're going for. Ships is able to find his way onto the site by getting 1 kill. Zori will be able to shut him down, but now needs to backtrack towards Bang. Damage inflicted from Duplicate and eventually finds a closer. 3v3 endeavor with 13 seconds remaining. The bomb was still making its way onto it. So HAVU, if they push on now, they can still put damage and a dent into the time of SKADE to get themselves a bomb plant. Just in time finds its way that position. Damage has been found. Bomb has been planted, but Slowy is able to find one. Spray down from Duplicate, but it's not going to be good enough. Denislaw by himself. He's found one. Down to 1v2. Finishes off the rest. Oh, misses out on the first shot, but the second one moving to shine on to X7 now.
Ooh,
finds a shot to disturb. He's found the shot. Pulls out the pistol. Can he find the closer? Headshot inflicted onto him as well. Denislaw in the 1v3 clutch. What a play from Denislaw. And it may even be the 1v4.
He saved it. He's continued the streak for SKADE. That is massive. That's HAVU being shut down very decisively. That was so well played from Denislaw to isolate duels left and right. Even with the shot not connecting, he can still get it done with the pistol. It did come down to the last wire there, but the P250 is there to save the day.
And HAVU, they must be hurting after that. They had so many numbers left on the end of things there. You would have thought the resurgence of confidence was existing and being boiled up into the blood of HAVU, but no. Denislaw just denies them of that prospect. And not only that, they deny their opponents a chance to equalize. And it's instead a further extension of their dominance.
Yeah, this is a complete wash-up SKADE. Not allowing HAVU to have an opinion in the matter. Ariel did a lot of heavy lifting on the Dust 2 side of things. And so did Slowy, but you don't really see those players coming to light anymore. The problem for me at the moment is that, yes, HAVU have 4 rounds on the board, and that's not really the worst thing to come back from. I mean, 7-4 is not by any means a decisive scoreline. You'd probably see that every day, but it's the fashion in which the scoreline has been achieved. It's SKADE with 7 rounds in a row, and that's just insult to injury. Keep in mind, it's not even like they particularly need that much money. They have 12K on Denislaw. I'm not sure how SKADE can feel so comfortable that they casually pull out a knife. Like, okay, yeah, just all in a day's work. But yeah, what I was
To be fair, you could see that backstab for a few meters there, but...
yeah.
Ooh, ouchie.
The odds, they are quite favored for SKADE at the moment. Don't think we've seen them that skewed at any point in time. But I actually don't think this game is as far.
Insult to injury, we'll be seeing the replay of that, and
yeah.
HAVU, upon watching the VOD, may have to watch that fall again. Aggressiveness actually coming through from SKADE. It's a change of pace.
Oh, that's the lineup as well, HAVU. They've got an opportunity to bring it right back. The bomb doesn't even make it onto the site. It's already SKADE being dismantled before they can get on it. Duplicate and Oxygen. An unfortunate lineup, but for HAVU, this is their foot through the door. SKADE may look to reposition now as they head on towards long. The bomb making its way through playground. They would only have to contest with 2 if they do end up moving forward. And SKADE with 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock. They still have a player outside Monster to at least keep the rotations in check. But now the AWP will swing out, and Zori doesn't even allow them to get up close.
Yeah, Ships didn't even consider repositioning from that trajectory he was heading towards the site. I do like that SKADE are still going for it, even though they knew their numbers were skewed. Even though that they were in a substantial deficit. They still want to put a dent into it. Rainwaker, ooh, doesn't quite anticipate the third player to be relying in that direction, even though Zori was previously the one to kill off Ships. It's still a confidence booster, but HAVU, they close out the winning streak of their opponents.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's not the worst scoreline to come back from, and it wasn't a decisive lead to begin with, yes, but maybe now that they've ended the streak, HAVU have a fighting chance in it. Zori wants to initially play aggressively with the AWP so he can watch over mid, be the contender in playground. Aerial, he's going to have a big task on his hands as they start to aggress on connector. There are 2 players to watch it, so that makes things a bit easier. Maybe they can even chuck a nade down connector to make it a bit easier of an affair for the M4s, but for now, HAVU have gotten a fair bit of info.
Is this info going to be enough? Because you can see that HAVU have stuck to their guns onto the A site. Nades. Slightly wide, although it does damage to Rainwaker. Oh, X7 still spots them out, but the flash could come through either way. They're going to push onto that monster side and make their way onto it. Mollied out. X7 again chiming true with a kill, but can he deliver further? Slowy can, and then we'll just slow down the pace of SKADE's attempt to push on forwards. Rainwaker, he's so down low, but Denislaw is able to hold down his ground. Still a 1v3 endeavor. And Denislaw bring out the madness like he did a couple of rounds ago. 3 players, 3 angles. The one nearest to him doesn't get spotted. It's disturbed to find the closer, and HAVU, they're keeping a close leash on their opponents.
Not sure where these signs of life have suddenly sprung up from on the HAVU side, but I'm glad that we get to see it. Because being SKADE's map pick, HAVU want to deny the 2-0. They want to take it to a 3-mapper, and boy would I love to see that, because these teams battling it out on Mirage, it would be a sight to see. But for now, HAVU have to take baby steps. Make sure they can at least get through this one before ordering another meal for themselves. X7, his aggression doesn't pay off. Instead, he has to back off. But Disturbed is happy to capitalize on the flashbangs of his teammate. Rainwaker comes in around the corner, is able to catch Disturbed in the back. It's a 2-for-1 trade favoring HAVU. as SKADE look to recollect themselves. They found the head. Slowy doesn't miss. Ships will fall off the server. It's Rainwaker and Dennis Law with an AK and an AWP, so still doable, but not quite an arm's reach.
Quite, is it? Dennis Law, what can you do in this position? Slowly making his way onto it. One shot has been thrown into it, nudged into his skull, but still stands. Still is functional. Look at the wraparound coming through from Aerial. He's all the way behind, and Rainwaker seems to be aware of it. Though they're taking their time, which begs the question, have they gone towards water? Have they gone through Connect to the door? Has that been opened? Can X7 see it? Not quite sure. He still considers that water and shorts may be approached.
Aerial's flank is very important here.
It absolutely is. Rainwaker's still aware of it, but is that going to be good enough? It's all down to timing.
Also significantly down to aim, because that's a hard shot for them to hit, and this is where they stop checking it.
It's not being checked
anymore. This is near perfect timing, and Aerial, maybe he communicates the info that it's completely clear. They've moved on to the site. The Molotov is perfect. X7 will be kept back. AWP from Dennis Law keeps him at bay. A second shot connects, and that is a 2 versus 4 that could potentially come to light. Zori is the last man remaining. He needs to find 2, and he's trying to find himself a better angle. Plays off the verticality, but he hasn't even spotted the pixel. A flashbang where Zori is completely white. He cannot spot them, and 2 players will be all it takes. Dennis Law with an insane 4K to close out the round for SKADE.
Dennis Law, you're inhuman. That shouldn't have happened. Absolutely not. I was like, how on earth would they know there would be a backstab incoming that quickly after the bomb got planted?
I don't even think Dennis Law fully expected it. He might have anticipated that a player comes in from short and peeks from monster, and that's what he was checking for.
The reaction timing. You can see there is timing there where he was surprised and then quickly reacted in a quick scope.
Yeah, he was expecting the player to come in from the short tunnel rather than it being the whole flank around. And I guess that's what waiting too long ended up doing. Aerial and Oxygen, 1-for-1 trade. Ship sweetens the deal a bit further, and Disturbed might be able to catch Oxygen off guard. Yes, he does. That's an AK being recovered. How do SKADE reposition around this? Because Slowy wants to get a bit more control in waters as the meat and potatoes of the game moves towards the Beast site. The bomb getting ready to be planted, and the Molotov will make sure of that.
Dennis Law again putting bullets through his opponents is exactly what he knows how to do best. Slow, he peeks through though, looking for the shot, successful in finding it. Down to 2 versus 2 situation, but Ships, he's got the right idea. Disturbed draws out the flash, doesn't check the right corner, but Slow is still into it. Both players are basically a bullet away. Touching the bomb, is he sticking it? Pros do not fake, and Slow, he's the pro of them all.
There's no
Holds
kit.
it. No kits.
Oh no, it's a knife!
It's a knife! The balls on Ships. He going
He
for
barely
a knife
had
on an
HP. Why
important
would he do
round
that?
like that? Ships? Wow. The baller. His face, he's ice cold. He doesn't care. 9-6 for SKADE at half time. They're looking grand, and the Pinnacle Lods know it.
How do you have the nads to go for a knife in that instance? You've got 10 HP.
This game is crazy. This is a crazy one, I'm telling you, for us.
Hello? Vision department? Yeah, I've seen it all.
I need a new brand pair of glasses, and they need to be looking into a new dimension, because in the 3-dimension space, I've seen everything I needed to see.
Okay, HAVU. They still have a shot in this, but SKADE, they're... I think they've already won the mental battle, to be honest. HAVU now heading up toilets. They don't really have all of their resources here, though, because they only have 2 players up close. If the bomb ends up getting dropped, that would be very difficult for HAVU to recover, but this is where they start to call in all reinforcements. All scrubs to the operating room as they head towards A. It should just come down to the aim duels. There's no flashbang available on the T side, only a Molotov and a smoke, so they can smoke out one angle, but SKADE, now they're starting to recognize this and keep some of their attention here.
Going across the A site, SKADE have got the read, as previously mentioned. Rainmaker now will hold it first. Makes his mark known. Duplicate is the one to put a bullet straight through Slow his head. First to chime in with some shots. Dennis, you're an absolute monster! Ice cold vein, sheesh! What a man!
What is that? I'm not sure. Okay, I said that they woke up on the wrong side of the bed for SKADE, but I take that back. I'm not sure what they had for breakfast in bed.
This game, Dennis Law is bounced back, you know? He wasn't, like, specifically being the one over onto Dust 2 to be the massive difference maker. Although he had impact, let's be honest. I feel like Ships was more of the go-to man when it came to clutches over into Dust 2. But on this map, Dennis Law, he's been enabled. He's an absolute monster.
Dennis Law has always been the star player, the big boy on the SKADE roster. With the supplementary help of Ships, it just becomes much more of a stacked roster. It often doesn't feel like... It feels like Dennis Law just has full control over the game at most points. Even if his team isn't able to do anything, you always see his stats reflecting him as the top-tier player. Double digits now ready for SKADE. They've won out the pistol round, and HAVU, their chances are looking slim in the series. Can they still recover? I would like to see a few more punches being thrown out by the HAVU squad, but right now, they're not really giving us too much to believe in, are they?
I mean, let's be fair. This is only the start of the half, right? But the fact that it goes to SKADE's way is where things do get a little bit tough for HAVU. They can only depend on the buy round. Although Disturbed is putting a dent at least into the lineup of SKADE. Apart from that, he's just sipping on his juice box and waiting for the round to end.
What do you want to see from HAVU here, Pavlos? What is the win condition? How do they bring it back? They still do look like they're alive and kicking, but for how long can they maintain this composure? SKADE, they're about to go up against a dastardly set of Deagles and Tech-9s. It should be easy pickings for Dennis Law. Yeah, mostly a throwaway round. I don't think Slowy can really do much off of that Desert Eagle kill. I do like how Dennis Law still wants to play this very carefully, though. He is within one-shot range, and it doesn't want to allow that sort of comfort. Chips now moving in from the back lines. He is the insurance policy that Dennis Law will have. Trying to quickly scurry on over to potentially get the M4. Slowy gets intercepted by Chips, and that is a free cleanup for SKADE.
Unfortunately for SKADE, though, one of the weapons still remaining in their hands is an MP9, whereas some M4s fell. But the odds, 1 to 23. Okay, someone believes in SKADE. I'm not surprised, let's be honest. So who can be surprised? Their performance is just dramatically increased. I like the Bulgarian squad I'm seeing currently. Like, this is more reminiscent of when they did hit the top 20s. When they were the best team in Bulgaria, when Fiend was a distant memory. But I guess this sort of comes in hand because last week they beat out Fiend in a best-of-3 series. And I guess they're like, okay, we're the better Bulgarian side. Let's prove to the world that we can also be in the highest standings when it comes to it.
HAVU, if they end up losing this round, their money would be in shambles. Okay, they can waltz on over to that 14, but this is not something that X7 wants to allow. Gets the opening frag on Chips, and repositions will come in from CTs. Rainwaker wants to equalize the number, so he wants to play it a bit more proactively. The M4 in his hand. You can see how SKADE are quickly scrambling on over to the A site, because now they have no faith that HAVU will actually go on over to B. I like this. They're going for a complete gamble. If they end up going to B, SKADE can just end up going for the save. I really like this sort of play, the full gamble, because they know that the next logical move is to go for a save. Oh, but this is where information is conveyed, Pavlos. This is where the bomb goes back.
SKADE. They actually might make it work down to an equal
Look at the timer, look at where the bomb is.
It's really far. It's going to be neck and neck. I think they will have the time, but it's been interrupted. No time remaining now. 15 seconds. Surely not. I think he barely will have it. I think he'll get on site on time, but it'll be close. No, too far, too far. Oh dear. This goes to the way of SKADE just because of timing and because Rainmaker was there to stop them.
That was such a big mistake from HAVU. Why would you drop the bomb when there's barely any time remaining? To try to keep it back and go for individual picks. I'm not sure why you would try to go for individual picks when it's 30 seconds remaining on the clock, barely. SKADE, they're feeling very comfortable with this. And look at the fact that HAVU got no loss bonus off of that. Yes, they still get away with AKs, but this is terrible if you're on the HAVU squad, and even worse if you're rooting for HAVU. Because right now, they're down in the dumps. They have already lost map 1, 13-6 on the SKADE map side, but X7, he wants to recover it. Great opening kill once again. Unfortunately, his kills aren't being capitalized on. Rainmaker quickly sweetens the deal for his side of the roster.
HAVU desperately need to get a grasp on this game, and SKADE every time they've had their hand near it, it's being slapped off. SKADE. I like the movement from coming in from ships. That's a change of pace that HAVU may not be anticipating. Although you can see Ariel has got his awareness towards it, he's now backdropped completely. HAVU, though, they find their mark here, having the numbers advantage with his third finding a kill. B-site could be taken over. Connector control as well, but ships, I think he might go for the full-on expenditure of this wraparound. Ooh, okay, missed out on that timing. Could have been able to find that shot, but no, it's the B-site that is being taken over. Oxygen and Duplicate on the other side of it, trying to retrieve it. Get this finishing blow. Good, beautiful spray down from Duplicate. Finish off the deal with an extra swing, and Oxygen still hasn't been spotted. Spray down onto Disturbed. Are you kidding me, SKADE? That should have been HAVU's take. That should have been HAVU's round for the taking. That should have been the bomb plant for them, and it should have been the victory. But SKADE say no, and the short push from ships will be the icing on the cake. SKADE on 14. They're showing HAVU who's boss on Overpass.
Last chance from HAVU as they dig into the last few pieces of change in their wallets. The lack of a round loss bonus, the round being lost to the timer. Nothing is going their way, and you can see that Slowey is scratching his head with the barrel of a sawed-off that he's just picked up. I think that might actually be a miss by Pavlos.
Sort of. As much as I'd love to say that, no, he meant to do it. He meant to buy one. He's trying to please me. He's trying to please the Counter-Strike gods as well. I think you might be right.
Yeah, at least he's got all pieces of utility. The thing is, it just doesn't really make sense to buy a sawed-off when the MAC-10 exists. Oh no, Ariel! The scroll hop! He had the right angle on Rainmaker. He would have gotten the entry frag for sure, but a quick flick of the mouse wheel means that he cannot... Oh boy.
Well, there's a sense of struggle coming out from the HAVU side, and SKADE are just able to shut him down, shut them down, stop them in their tracks. X7, what a flick! Second kill going his way as he pushes forwards. Disturbed looks to chime in, wants a piece of the pie, but ships playing for the trigger discipline. Oxygen winning on the other side of the map. This is not over! But they left the bomb behind, so even though ships hasn't shown his mark onto this side of the map, the bomb has still made its decision of where they want to approach.
This is perfect from ships. He will be left unchecked entirely because the player in bank has given out the call that it's completely clear that A will not be checked at all. He has an opportunity at picking up 2 free frags as there's no way they check. They still don't check toilets, and that means it could be a free kill. How would they possibly expect ships to be in this position, Pavlos? When the bomb gets planted, it will be interrupted, and with only 20 seconds remaining, it is a mess. Now, this is where the sawed-off can come to light. It doesn't get a chance for the trigger to get pulled, And X7, although he got 2 nasty entry frags, there's no way he gets the bomb down now.
9 seconds, Molly out as well. X7 needs to dance through the flames. He's been able to do so. Bomb goes down just in time, but no time to pull out his rifle. Oxygen and Ships bamboozle their opponents. Find the victory through the hands of HAVU. They stole it right under their noses. And they haven't given an inch to their opponents the entire time they've been on the CT side.
This is masterful gameplay from SKADE. On both maps, when they've gotten onto the advantageous side, they've not, as you mentioned, they haven't given an inch. A centimeter, a millimeter, anything. Just allow HAVU to get a fighting chance here, but no.
Buying up as much as they can. Ringwaker holding down the ground here with X7. Oh, okay, HAVU may have a chance. But this could be it, I think, for us, don't you think?
Yeah, I think this is over, Pavlos. That's exactly what I was about to say.
But maybe not. HAVU have been able to find 2 kills at this point. And they're looking to push forwards. I think SKADE need another piece of madness like they brought off the previous round. Oxygen putting a bullet through the Sturbs' skull. And now it's down to 3 on 4. Dennis Law repositioning. He could be the massive difference maker in this endeavor. Bomb has been dropped. They know exactly where it is. He'll hold his line for one more time, but the cross has come through and he hasn't even seen it. Ships quickly finding his way onto the site. And now Oxygen will try and find a wraparound. It won't be in time. 1v3. They know exactly where he is. And I think HAVU will have another living chance to stay within it. Oxygen giving it his best, but it won't be enough. X7 able to shut him down, but SKADE, they're still on that map and series point.
X7 is far above the rest of his teammates right now, constantly getting entry frags that haven't been capitalized on, and it's a bit heartbreaking to see, because when somebody's having a lights out performance like that, you want to see that being culminated into rounds, but we're simply not afforded that privilege at all. SKADE and HAVU. We thought this was going to be a neck-and-neck affair, and it was on Dust 2, I'll be honest, but as far as the streaks from SKADE are concerned, they are winning them all. They keep chaining rounds together, and Overpass has been incredibly difficult.
Well, at least they stopped the streak, and surprisingly enough, after SKADE having so many rounds in a row, their economy has been dwindled down completely. But they do go for the full buy, knowing that they can afford it. Rainwaker pushing through. Oh, 180-degree turn, and he's able to find the headshot onto Slowey. Dennis looks to chime in as well. They're making these miniguns work out for them. And Disturbed, well, he's got a big task ahead of him, and he's greeted by the only man with a rifle. Well, not anymore, because Ships and Rainwaker found rifles themselves. Zore, AWP at hand, 5 players remaining. For ours, I think this is the end. 50 seconds, and Zore means nothing more than a miracle. Nothing less than a miracle, excuse me. But SKADE, yeah, this has been a wondrous performance by them.
Yeah, this has got to be the GGs being typed in already. Nothing they can do. A flawless round off of Deagle's Pavlos. Not the way we would expect it to go. But it's 16-7 on map number 2. What a way for SKADE to close it out 2-0. And that's what you said when I put you on the spot, Pavlos. We stated that if there was any team that could take it 2-0, it had to be SKADE because of how fickle the second map affair would be.
Yeah, Faraz, unlike you, my predictions actually do come to fruition. Well, sometimes, not most of the times.
Yeah, Pavlos, the funny thing is that I would have gone for the same prediction, especially because that's what I said in the pregame, that yes, if the second map is going to be very difficult, so it's only SKADE that can get it to 2-0. But I didn't officially make that prediction. It was you that said it. I set you up for that prediction, and I still don't have any correct predictions so far. No,
I was about to ask you, do you think that counts as you breaking your streak? And I was about to counter that by saying no, but I think you realize that yourself, so that's okay. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at the current Swiss stage to see how things have worked out, because that means that SKADE have been able to qualify forwards, right? They're the third team to make their way onto the playoffs, while at the same time you sort of see their opponents, HAVU, dropping to that 2-2 mark, having another chance to qualify later on, together with the likes of Fiend, MIBR, and Copenhagen Flames. But apart from that, we've got more games coming underway later on, so make sure you stick around for those. To be exact, it is the games of Mouse NXT versus Young Ninjas and Ents versus Entropic to come forwards later on, so make sure you stay tuned for more lovely Counter-Strike, because I see those games being very exciting as well. For that regard, it is myself, Extraria, and the beautiful Wild Daily by my side to sign off for now, and we'll make sure to give you later action in the Pinnacle Cup. But it won't be us for the later series. You might have to you'll have to encounter some other casters way more beautiful and talented than us. But apart from that, we're going to bid you farewell, and hope you guys tune in later for some extra games of awesomeness.